Alright, Ant-Man and the Wasp isn't the worst Marvel film, but it's mediocre compared to the last 7 MCU entries. It's a low-tier Marvel movie on the same level as Thor: The Dark World or even The Incredible Hulk. There are lots of problems involving characters, direction, and overall storytelling that could have easily been avoided. A couple of rewrites could have made this film one of the best Marvel sequels and make Ant-Man and the Wasp the most entertaining characters in the Marvel universe. So, with hindsight being 2020, here's 4 steps to fixing Ant-Man and the Wasp. Step 1. Give Scott and Hope meaningful characterization. Marvel movies aren't supposed to be deep character studies, and that's completely fine, but at least give your characters some personality and flavor. Both Scott and Hope feel like dumbed down versions of their characters seen in the original Ant-Man, and by the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, none of these characters feel like they've changed. There's no valuable lesson or character arc for either of these characters. They're just expendable action figures who don't have weaknesses or go through any struggle. The best way to improve this is by adding obstacles for each character, and by giving Scott and Hope interesting character traits that we haven't seen in the previous film. Maybe Scott's obstacle is struggling to see his daughter because of his house arrest. His ex-wife and her new husband are preventing Cassie from seeing Scott because she wants to become just like her father. And for Hope, she could be doubtful that Janet, her mother, is still in the quantum realm due to discovering her father's lies about the events. This makes it harder for her to trust her father and his stories. Character trait: making Hope more of a hothead who really doesn't know what she's doing in comparison to Scott, who appears to be a clown but is highly intelligent, could have an exciting dynamic with the character instead of the same old cliche of one partner being goofy and the other one being a straight man. Let the characters struggle and show their weaknesses. Let them have independent goals that could be resolved by the end of the film, something that's relatable and Marvel-esque. Step 2. Make the villain more villainous and sinister. The reason why Ghost isn't a strong villain is because she doesn't act like a Marvel supervillain. Her goals and motivations are very personal, which is a great start, but we need to see her taking risks that the protagonist wouldn't take, such as killing people or even threatening the lives of the main character. You know, what basic Marvel villains do. Marvel villains like Thanos, Killmonger, and Vulture are memorable because they're a great balance of being relatable and wicked. They don't just want to help themselves, rather they want to help those that have been wrong just like them, and are willing to do so in the way that they see fit. The greatest villains are those who see themselves as being the hero, but Ghost doesn't. She just wants to heal herself and just so happens to get in the way of the protagonist. We can change Ghost's motivation to be both sympathetic and atrocious by having her parents be trapped in the quantum realm as a result of both Janet and Hank's experiments. Now, Ghost has a reason to kidnap Hank and not save Janet because they trapped her parents in the quantum realm. Ghost has the backstory of a good villain, but her actions need to reflect a villain instead of an anti-hero. Step 3. Establish a stronger connection to the MCU, similar to what happened in the original Ant-Man. I wasn't the biggest fan of Ant-Man. However, one of the highlights of that film was seeing Ant-Man's interaction with Falcon. Having another Avenger cross over into a standalone Marvel film feels like relationship matters in a franchise with 20 plus films. Having Falcon meet Ant-Man led to Civil War, which shows that events in any film can have further consequences in future films. Ant-Man and the Wasp, on the other hand, didn't have a fun cameo or a stronger connection to the MCU. The only connections were Scott being on house arrest because of the events of Civil War, Ghost being an ex-member of S.H.I.E.L.D., and the post-credit scene hinting at Avengers 4. Having at least one minor Avenger appear in the film would have at least made the plot more significant for the audiences and fans, and it would have shown the strength of the Marvel brand. Perfect Avenger could have been Hawkeye, since we know that both him and Scott are on house arrest and shared an action scene together in Civil War. Plus, there was a rumor suggesting that Hawkeye would be in the film, but that didn't happen. Adding another Avenger could have made this film more significant to the MCU's future, rather than this feeling like a filler episode for a great TV series. Step 4. Let the film be unique in comparison to other MCU films. I'm sorry, but I don't think Peyton Reed is the right director for these characters. He does bring some funny ideas, but both Ant-Man and its sequel feel less cinematic and unique compared to other MCU films. Ant-Man and the Wasp doesn't feel like a big Marvel movie, and never uses these characters in inventive and fun ways. Everything feels static and stiff. It's more like a comedy TV show starring Paul Rudd rather than an expensive action movie. Action doesn't need to be sacrificed for comedy. They can both function together just like any other MCU film. The film is dying for some style. Other characters with a comedic style and an interesting take on the characters and the mythos would have gladly been welcome for the sequel. Marvel should have at least tried to reach out to other directors on this project. Someone like Joe Cornish, who wrote the first Ant-Man, or Ruben Fleischer could have at least brought their style of comedy and action that could have subverted expectations for an Ant-Man sequel. Maybe for Ant-Man 3 we can get another director similar to Taika Waititi for Thor Ragnarok, but seeing that Ant-Man and the Wasp box office numbers could be up in the air to whether we'll get a sequel. You just need a stylish director who understands the source material and cares about the characters in order to have a very fun and entertaining movie. Without it, you get a boring mess, which unfortunately is what Ant-Man and the Wasp is. And cut. Alright, so this is the end of the video. This is my first video, so it is what it is. If it's good, if it's bad, then that's what it is. If you liked it, give it a like. If you dislike, give it a dislike. If you have any of your own steps or your own creations of how to fix this movie, then post it down below. If you disagree with me, then I would love to hear why you disagreed with me. If you like more of this content, then subscribe and hit that notification bell because I will be posting more. And hopefully, I'll be mostly touching upon mostly blockbusters and all kinds of stuff like that. So, and I'll have other series that probably are going to be harder to make, but we'll see. So thank you for watching and bye.